And we'll start. Welcome, John. Welcome to In the Paint. This is our episode 2 or 3, I forget, but it's great to have you back, man. Hope you're doing well. It is March. What is it? March 26th. We're in March Madness, NBA playoff season right around the corner. How are you doing, sir? How's your last few weeks been in the hobby and around basketball?
It's been pretty good. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun lately. I took a little break from Panini and Topps products, and I went in a different direction, and I opened a Parkside product because I am an IndyCar fan. I'm a racing fan. I wanted to get a taste for this new product that came out for the series that is right here in my backyard. And so I've been opening a lot of that. Nobody seems to be interested in that product, but I'll tell you what, the autographs are flowing out of that product like nobody's business. It's a lot of fun.
It's interesting. You were sharing that with me, and it looks cool. And it's funny. I think of that. I think about my Funkos. I love my stupid NFT Funkos. It's not the other Funkos. I just do my NFT ones. And it is, like you said to me earlier, it's like an escape from the world of sports cards, the drama, I don't want to say it's negative. It's just an escape from an escape, which is funny, right?
Well, yeah, to me, it felt like the Panini and Top route, especially the Topps route lately, just felt like a rat race. And I got a link sent to me about I forget what it was, like the March Madness packs or something else. And then it was like the Wemby thing, this, that, and the other thing. And I just thought, I think it was a Dynasty with the Wemby card with the patch auto or whatever. And I just sort of shook my head and said, I need a break. I need a break from that constant drumbeat of the sort of marketing push. And I thought I wasn't going to open any product on my channel. I wasn't going to open any product for me. But then I watched a few openings of that IndyCar product. And honestly, it said, buy me. And I've been making complete sets, selling the autographs, selling sets of the inserts. It's a lot of fun.
One thing I noticed too, watching some of your videos, is that it makes you see that how a company can put together a product with on-card autographs, with the parallels, all the cool stuff, and it seems very affordable. I think you're saying like $11, $12 a box, which then I think to myself, that means somebody's still making a profit. And again, makes me think to myself, that didn't change. Like Prism is still just as cheap it is to print today as it was 5 years ago. And the only difference is the bullshit hype we put around it.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. You actually had the box price a little bit higher than it actually is. So I got them for $8 a box. I was getting hanger boxes for $8 a box. I was pulling an autograph every 7 boxes. Nobody watched the videos, I'll be honest. It was probably the most pathetic set of videos I'd ever put out. And I just kept making them because, honestly, I was like, I like it.
Yeah.
People can hate on it all they want. Maybe they just haven't discovered it. But I loved it. And then I opened a hobby box today, and those are only $90. $90. I pulled 3 autographs out of a hobby box and 5 numbered cards, including 1 to 10. Those things are loaded. Like, they are loaded with 3 on-card autographs out of a $90 hobby box. I know it was only guaranteed 2, but then I pulled 3. And they might have loaded the front end of them, but they don't declare a print run, but I don't think they made a lot of this product. I really don't. Because every box I've opened, they don't have any numbered cards over the number of 99 in serial number. Nothing over that. So it's all low numbered stuff, and you're pulling lots of numbered cards on 99 to 10 to 49. I think the odds of pulling a 1-on-1 is like 30 boxes.
What's the history of this? I mean, I know the racing's been around for a long time. How far along? Like, when did the cards go back? Have they been making these just recently? Or have they been making them for 20 years? I mean, I know nothing about the sport. I mean, nothing about the card sport.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting story. They used to make cards for this series back in 2007. They made one, I think it starts with an R. I want to say it was like almost like the one that makes the puzzles, but it was like Ravensburger or Rittenhouse or something like that.
Yep.
They were the license owner in this product in 2007, and they made a product, and Danica Patrick was in it. And it was Danica Mania back then. She'd led the Indy 500, and it was like, oh, Danica is going to be the next big thing. Well, she kind of fizzled out, went to NASCAR, took the money. Now she's retired, but still around the sport. Goes to the 500 every year and is a broadcaster. So anyway, they hadn't had a product from 2007 until now. And I talked to a guy that is a employee at our LCS. He also sets up at card shows near me. And I asked him one time, I said, why don't they have IndyCar trading cards? And this was like during 2021, 2022. And he said, watch this space. People have talked to very high levels in the sport, especially in the team owners, Zach Brown and McLaren. Many people know F1, Zach Brown, same guy. And they said, Zach Brown, somebody got time with him, and they're going to partner with a company. We just don't know who. And I thought, well, could it be Topps or Panini or Leaf or somebody else? And then I saw a thing on my IG, and it said Parkside. And I thought, well, that's it. I never heard of that company. And they put other products together. They put there's a lacrosse product, there's a women's soccer product, there's another basketball product.
They're hockey. They've been doing hockey a long time. I think correct me if I'm wrong with that. I think they're like vintage hockey, like they're an established company. Yeah,
exactly. And so that, I don't know. I just thought, well, I need to see it first. And I saw a couple of hanger boxes open on YouTube, and I was like, it's actually not bad. Not bad. And then I looked at the checklist, and I was like, I could see where you might have an audience for this product. And you're making complete sets, getting the insert sets together, getting the autographs sold, probably try and grade a few cards.
I was going to ask you that.
Again, I like it.
You've been selling raw, right? Are you making money or paying for the cost, or are you underwater?
I'm not ahead yet, but I wouldn't say that, given how much I have left and how much autos I've sold through, which is not a lot. And I have a lot of good ones left. I kept all the good ones because those are the ones I want to think about grading. They're the ones that have huge followings in the sport. And for me, I wanted to make complete sets as quick as possible, make insert sets as quick as possible, get the autos I didn't want to keep sold as quick as possible, and see where I'm at. And right now, I would say I'm not underwater to where I think the value is there. I have a ton of inserts to sell through that I can't make complete sets of. So I could sell through a lot of that. And I kept the good autos, I kept the good parallels, and I sold the rest. Now, I'm still selling through it daily. I've been averaging about $200 to $300 in sales a day on this product. But I'm into it for a decent amount. I had some money in my card account, and I said, I'm not buying any Panini or Topps products anytime soon. Why not? And
what's so cool about this?
It's been fun.
What you're describing, I think, is interesting because I'm like that. I think a lot of people like this, and what I mean by that is you take your knowledge of the hobby on ripping, grading, selling, flipping, whatever you want to call it, and you're basically churning through a product, devouring it, you're grinding it to maybe PC a few things. Now, are we flippers? Are we bad? No. In fact, I think we are probably the number one consumer that the companies want to market to. They want to market to people who are doing that, who are going to be buying cases, who are going to, I guess, like mine the product, pull out the good stuff, send it off for grading. So it's cool to hear you doing that. And I think that's what intrigues me is that's what gets me into it. If I know there's a hustle that I don't have to love the product, but if there's an opportunity there, it gets me interested in it. So being a first year product, it also makes me think maybe it's something you put away. Are you thinking about that too? Would you save any of this?
I have two more. So included in my cost basis, I have two more sealed retail cases. I'm probably, if I open one, it's going to be one more. I'm going to keep one sealed. I'll stay with it. And I have a couple hobby boxes coming after today. They were so good. I was like, I need to put at least a couple of these on the shelf and have them. Because I ran the numbers. I don't think they made more than 5,000 of these boxes for hobby. I don't. I think they had a very, very low print run. And rightfully so, because they don't know how big the market is. And they're going to start small. They're not going to print a lot and let it sit there and devalue, right? So
where did you buy them?
I bought them off the website.
Off Parkside website?
Yep. And then the
Okay.
Card Giants was the one I got the hanger boxes from because you can do a 20% discount on that. And then the
Okay.
$500 case was $400. So that's
So
how I did that.
let me ask you a question, and we'll transition this as well. Have you sent or will you send any of these off to grading? Or will you go to PSA, and what's your plan there?
I probably will. I have 2 Pato Award autos, an Elio Castroneves auto and a Marcus Ericsson auto. I'll probably send all those to grade because they're decently popular drivers, especially Pato Award. He's got a massive Instagram following, probably the biggest in the series by like 6-fold. So, and then right now, I'm PCing a couple of complete sets within the set. They have a set called Iconic Images, which is like really cool photography. They're really cool to look at in person. They don't take great photographs in terms of like me taking a picture to show you, but when you're in person, they look amazing. And they're all kind of like Stadium Club-esque, almost like the Tops did with the short prints this year, where they put the no border on the card, and it's just about the photograph. There's a 14 card set within that that's really hard to put together. I put that together today when I opened the hobby box finally, so I'm going to keep that.
Very nice. Very, very cool. Well, it's funny. When we talked last time, I think I talked to you about signing up for PSA's club, which I did that. And I want to say, by the way, I did that right at the cutoff, unknown to me. I got in at $99 before they jacked it up to $150. So like it was like perfect timing. I did that because I wanted to grade my Conor Bedard card that I pulled. So I went ahead and sent that out. I got those grades back today. I'm extremely disappointed.
Yeah,
I'll tell everybody, I got a PSA 8. And why I'm disappointed is like that was not in my mind that would even happen. Like in my mind, and I think this is a lesson for everybody. No, I think they laughed at me because they're like, "What idiot rushed this in?" I almost thought to myself, "Should I get a discount?" Yeah, because my declared value, I think I put in like a $900, which is what a PSA 9 was coming in at. So I'm thinking to myself, do I get some money back now? Like, will you downcharge it?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think the lesson here was a couple things. When I got it, I did not Kurt's card carry it at all. God damn me, maybe I should have. I just took it, wiped it once, stuck it right in a sleeve, and just shipped it off, right? Because I pulled it. I figure it looks good. I did examine it. It didn't look bad to me. It looks beautiful. Of course, we're all drunk at the time when we pull a card like that. So after I put it in, I watched this video. This guy put a video called John's Sports Cards. And he pointed out there's this little issue with the card. And as he's talking about it, I go and look at my card. I'm like, holy shit, I have that same thing. And he's talking about a lot of them are coming back PSA 8s and 9s. And then I get my review today, and I'm looking at him like, God, please. Because in my mind, so everybody's listening, I had thought to myself, okay, I spent $1,300 on Upper Deck product. Okay. So I'm thinking if I get a 9, I'm going to get back $800, $900. You know, that's most of my money. And then I can grind out the rest of it. I'm good to go. Right. If I get a PSA 10, I'm freaking super excited. That's the only thing I thought to myself as an idiot. So everybody laughed there because I didn't think PSA 8. So PSA 8, I looked it up. I think it's about $450 card.
Wow. So that's almost raw. I mean, that's raw value, really.
Yeah, well, raw value slipped a lot. I think raw is around 3 something. It depends. It depends on what you're looking at. Like I was looking at eBay comps. Last eBay's, I think I'm seeing high 3s, low 4s for some raw auctions you can get into. And I think the card will continue to slip. I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot of them. And I think as pop counts come back, there are going to be a lot of 8s and 9s.
Yeah. Where do you think we'll be in 6 months in terms of the price on that card raw? You think it'll be under $100? You think it'll be 150, 200?
You know, these are great questions. These are like, I don't know, man. I don't know hockey enough to make a call on this. I don't know the floors. My gut would say it sticks around a couple $100. You know, even in mass amounts as it comes out, I still think it's going to be a cornerstone card. If I look at like Luka's still a pretty good $100 card, PSA something. I don't know. It's hard to say. I definitely think it's going to go down. But now, like I said, I just I'm not gonna make money on my Upper Deck purchase.
Yeah. Well, did you open the other case, or you still have that sealed?
Yeah. No, I opened the. Guess I'm saying all in, and I have a bunch of other Connor upper. I have a bunch of Connor. I have like 6 Connor inserts, some glossies, and the the Dazzlers, and they're like 70, $80 raw. So I will, and here's another add to the story. I submitted all of those cards in the March submission, whatever the discount was. Just wanted to get them graded. So now I'm looking back to lesson learned is why didn't I just submit that one there? Why did I have to rush it off? Why did I have to think in my head it's going to be a PSA 9 and a PSA 10? And I will say too, you're right. I did submit the Wemby, and now I'm sick to that. I'm sick to my stomach on that one because I'll tell you too, on that Wemby, guys, I just put that in the damn mail. I did not wipe it down at all. I remember pulling that the night I pulled it. I was so shocked by that. I put my gloves on immediately. I sleeved it up. I wrapped it up. I don't think I took pictures of it except for that night. And the next morning I was shipping it off. And now I'm thinking, holy shit, maybe I should have Kurt's card carried these damn things. Maybe pack pull isn't anything. I don't know, man. It's killing me, PSA.
Yeah, well, you learn. I mean, the first time I ever submitted my gem rate was 30%. It was like 32%. And I submitted a lot of cards that I thought, man, if these get 10s, they're going to be great. And then I got 9s and 8s on all of them. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then I got a 10 on a few cards that made up for the difference. And that made me come back. And you get better at it. I will say, like, I'm not an expert by any means, but I have a process that I go through. I always wear gloves, which is funny because we saw that PSA video and the guy didn't wear gloves at all. And he's touching your cards and he's doing all these other things and he's doing it really fast. And you're like, I spend a lot of time like making sure it's right. And you're just sitting there going,
yeah.
And then you're wiping it off really quick and you're like 9, 10, whatever. I'm like, if that's the way you handle all cards, man, you're going to ding a few corners over time. You will, most definitely. But anyway, like I said, I'm not an expert by any means, but my gem rate ever since then was never 30% again. It's always been over 50. So
do you do something different to the cards, or are you excluding more cards that you would have submitted before?
A little bit of both. I don't use anything other than a microfiber on it. A lot of times the edging is the thing I pay closest attention to, in addition to, smudges and fingerprints and any little print line or defect. If you can remove it with a little bit of, hot air and microfiber, to me, that's fine. But the edges is what I pay most attention to. And anything that has a corner that I know is not perfect, especially in the paper cards, unless it's a big card, I won't send it in. I will, there's plenty of Michael Harris and Jordan Walker and other players, Julio Rodriguez, that I got over the years that I did not send in. I would have wanted to send those in because I know they're big cards in a 10, but I thought there's really no chance I could get anything more than a 9 or an 8 on this. So I had to bite the bullet and sell it raw.
See, to me, again, I'm okay with a 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't freaking believe an 8 on a modern.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what scares the shit out of me. Like, I have been using somebody in the past, like I said, 2 subs for me. And I've always had this feeling. I personally believe a lot of it's magic and freaking, it's just timing. These guys, they don't do the science on it. So I submit to this guy. He does reject cards every now and then. I look at him like, well, why'd you reject this? I'll send them back to him. Sometimes you submit them. I get 9s and 10s. So I've always felt it's very subjective. And just this, I don't know. I also, to be honest with you, I'm paranoid because the first time I'm submitting directly to PSA, and I'm thinking to myself, do they know who I am?
Oh, probably not. No.
Oh, no. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, come on. I'm just saying.
They might know you by your YouTube name, but they probably don't know your real name.
I'm paranoid, man. I'm just telling you right now, I'm paranoid. I don't like them, but I use them. And I'll say this too. Watching all the videos recently, right? Rovell, Jeff, whether you guys like it or not, waxing's going on. Like, I watched some of Kurt's card care videos.
Yeah.
This shit's going down. Okay. So like in my head, I'm thinking to myself, am I an idiot for even subbing directly? Should I just sub to a guy who's going to wax them for me and I can get the most money? I mean, everybody else is doing that. Why am I not doing that? I mean, I know a guy who does that. Why am I not sending to him to make sure my card gets the highest grades? Am I supposed to feel better because ethically? I mean, seriously, no one else gives a shit. So if it's going like I'll put it this way, that PSA 10 that guy got, we know it was Kurt's card cared. We know it. He said it. And this hobby doesn't give a shit. So why should I have some ethical dilemma about, oh man, some guy's gonna be sad in a few years when his card turns green? Maybe it won't. Maybe his card's gonna go up 50 times and I look like an idiot because I sold it too cheap, right? So is he gonna come back to me and go, oh man, this card still looks great. I made a lot of money off it? No. So I don't know. The whole Kurt's Card Care PSA, it pisses me off.
Yeah, it does rub me the wrong way to think that some people have just resorted to that as sort of common practice. I don't know that. Let's cover the wax angle of it. If you rub something on, you rub it off. Did you really add anything? Well, I mean, I guess by the definition of adding, yes, you did, but what's left over? Not much. But the one thing I will say, in all the Kurt's Card Care hype that got on recently with the Wemby, the one thing they can't fix is a dented corner. I have not heard that they fixed the magic wizard of dinging corners on a black bordered card. So they're not getting Steph Curry's from the 2009 to get a PSA 10 because they have some magic elixir. They're not doing that, at least. And that's a good thing, because if they had figured that out, then that really opens up the door for a lot of scrupulous activity, unscrupulous activity when it comes to manipulation of cards. The tougher the grade, I mean, if you're looking at a white border card or just a plain chrome stock card or the vintage card that they try to bring back to life with the magic potion, I would never do that because I don't know what's going to happen to that card in 20 years or 30 years. You put water on it, like me, sure it's dried cardboard, but I got boxes in the basement. If they get wet, even if I dry them, they still look wet over time. Like, so it's not foolproof. And I just don't think I'd want to take that chance. And I'd be happy to buy a lower grade of a card, knowing that nobody ever did that of a vintage card. But I don't buy a ton of vintage cards. I mean, I've bought a few Hank Aaron's, mostly just for PC purposes. But to me, that's not my thing. But again, I don't need to get the highest grade possible because there's a high likelihood that it was manipulated and trying to get creases out. So I don't know. To me, that's just not my thing.
And, it's funny. And I heard a great argument about the crease thing too the other day, right? Because someone said, hey, taking a crease out is altering the card. And the person said, well, isn't creating the crease altering the card? Because the card came out of the pack without the crease, and then you banged it, and then you just altered the card. So aren't you reversing an alteration that was made post? I mean, so let me just say, it irks me. And I think what irks me the most is that I do feel like as a wannabe comic collector, there definitely is a line of if you have access to the right people, the right money, the right Kurt's Care card kit, I think you can get almost any grade you want on a card. And I wonder if that's true or not. And maybe I'm not saying like the Connor Bedard, you can't take a common base card and touch it up. But I think some of these other cards, these big cards, they do get some special treatment. And that's just the way it is. And it irks me.
It just feels like there's a limitation, though, to what they can do, right? Because you would never see Kurt's Card Care being on the Luca, the thicker cards, the 1/1 or something from Flawless with the autograph on it. You're not putting that on there. There's no way. And so bigger cards like that, like I just don't see the upside because you're not going to fix the problem, right? To me, it's isolated to chrome cards and vintage cards is all of what their bread and butter is. Because you're not going to put an auto in a solution like that. There's no way in hell that you're going to put an autograph card.
But but what they do, and we've known this, those big cards, they do patch swapping, which is something else that I think blows me away. And this has been going on forever, like for 20 years, people in the hobby, since 2003, since those exquisite patches, people have been taking those cards apart, amazingly, swapping out patches and putting them back together. And what blows, like when I came to the hobby, they number the number of colors, right? 3-color patch. I'm like, who gives a shit if it's 3 colors? But that was a big deal. That added value. If you had a 2-color patch versus a 3-color patch, the value went up. And that was because patch alterers. So that's still going on, right? So there's some altering going on at every level. And I don't know. Let's get this comment. I mean, I thought about buying a Kurt's Card Care kit.
I haven't.
I haven't done it yet. I'm also worried that list will get someone will hack Kurt's Card Care and they'll leak the list of everybody who bought Kurt's Card Care.
Yeah, it'd be
And they'll
funny
be like on a
if
blacklist,
they had like a
right?
purchase history and be like, these are our customers. That's worth
And then
some money.
and then you find out like it's certain names are using that to be who it can be kind of
Yeah, that would
bad.
be funny. That would be really funny. That'd make for a great spoof video. And be like,
Oh,
look at this. I've got the secret list, the Kurtz Card Care customers. And then
what was that?
and you
Remember
start,
the madam who had the list of all? Remember the madam in DC who had the list of all the politicians that
yeah,
she was selling
exactly.
prostitution to?
Yeah,
I forget but yeah,
exactly.
you'd be like
Can you
the
imagine?
Kurtz card care madam. On that real quickly,
Yeah.
while we're talking this, let's swing a little bit to basketball. First of all, are you not shocked by how many of these damn shiny Wimbies are popping out? Whether it's the cracked ice, the pink ice, the silvers, you realize that each one of those is roughly $500 to $1,000 or $2,000 every time one
It's
pops.
it's crazy. I think people are treating Wemby like they did Zion during the hype, like they did Ja Morant during the hype, Luka during his initial hype. If I were opening that product, I would be selling immediately. There are so many of those printed. I don't think that we've seen the last of the Prism retail yet. We still have the
Yep.
SKUs coming from Target. We still have other SKUs coming. That card's not rare at all. Like the numbered versions, sure, maybe the gold to 10 like you had or stuff like that. Sure, the blacks, the black shimmer, black finite, whatever. But the cracked ice and the pink cracked ice and the red cracked ice, those cards are not rare. I pulled the cracked ice out of a retail blaster. I got it graded. I'm disappointed that I got a 9, but I sold it immediately. I could have cracked
And
it and resubbed it, but I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with the price of this card. I just I want my $450 back.
And see, that's the thing I was thinking about. Is there's so much money. Like, first of all, is basketball back? I mean, that's made basketball a strong chase. Like it is a chase product now. People talk about Wemby. The Prism's going off the shelves. The prices on the Prism are going crazy. I wonder too. I personally think it's going to. It can't continue with the higher end products without the autographs. Like I can't see people going crazy for Immaculate and Noir and NT without those autographs. I understand Prism. I have to think it's peaking there, and maybe that's why it's also so intense. Is because all that money's going there. But there's a lot of money going in the Prism right now.
Oh, for sure. And we haven't even seen like Optic yet. We haven't seen select retail. I would guess that the 2023-24 retail products in general will be fairly popular because the price point is still pretty low, given that Wemby is such a chase. The other interesting thing I think about basketball, before I mention that, I will mention, I think Flawless Basketball came out today. $22,000 a case, like the actual briefcase, from my hobby box or my hobby shop, and I thought that was ridiculous considering there's no Wemby autos in there. I don't believe. So I thought that was kind of laughable. But going to
I want to say, hold on, that's last year's. That's last year's Flawless. Though.
Was it last year's? Okay.
Yeah, because that's actually Paulo's and Chet's autographs would be.
That's still expensive.
But still,
though.
It is
$22,000. Like that should be like. I don't play in that market, but that should be what, $5,000 to $8,000.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. It should be less than $1,000. I don't see any reason why that product has gone up. And I'll tell you that because it was $1,500 first off the line back in I think it was 18 or 17. That was its suggested retail price. And just an FYI, that's what first off the line used to be. It was the suggested retail price is what they put it out at. Before they did Dutch ovens, they would just put out, here's our suggested retail price, $1,500. NT used to be $1,000 a box. Okay, I remember selling my box for $2,000 when I got one for $1,500 at maybe I sold it for $2,500, but I sold it. So those boxes are way, way, way high. And I think it's even worse is that, and again, I love breaking. I saw one breaker yesterday. The way he did the break, he was making $35,000 off the case because he was doing it as a player break.
Wow.
And I just thought to myself, that to me seems wrong. Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you justify that? Like, what did you do as a breaker opening a box that justifies $15,000 a markup? And don't tell me it's shipping because you're not shipping to everybody. Everybody didn't get a goddamn hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I was blown away by that.
Well, I blame the consumer for buying into it, right?
Well, part of that,
breaker will
I'll
do
say
it
this,
if you can sell it.
part of that is the way that the breakers hide it. Okay, you don't necessarily see the transaction. It's kind of like, I'll put it like this. One of my big arguments about breaking is I want fair and honest pricing. It's like food back in the day when they didn't tell you how many calories were in it. You just kind of ate it and they tell you, oh, it's fat free, right? Today they have to tell you what the hell's in it. They don't do that with breaking. A lot of these breakers do these auction styles or they do player breaks. The best way to do it is to have an auction player break because each person's driving up each individual player and you're going to create a higher floor. Again, I understand that it's a market-driven thing, but I also think that more attention should be put at it. And I also say this too: the manufacturers, Fanatics, should not want that happening, because in my opinion, that $15,000 going to some, and I'll say this, asshole to open a goddamn box to open a box is less money going into the hobby. I would rather that money go to a Fanatics breaker where there's better tiering and call it price control. I don't care what it is. Tell me half the money is going to goddamn charity. But that stuff's ridiculous. $22,000 for a case, and these guys charging, I think, $38,000 for it in a player break.
That's crazy.
And if he got it allocated, he didn't pay $22,000 for it either. You know what I'm saying? Like, allocated prices for that are much, much lower. And this is also why I'll say this too. One of the problems going on in the hobby is because Panini is still kind of like a dying horse or a dying animal. They're continuing to supply the breakers with allocated or mixed pricing. In other words, they can go to a breaker and go, I'll give you 10 cases of NT at $1,000 a box, which you can mark up to 5,000, 10,000 a box, but you're going to have to take Limited and Chronicles and Illusions and all this other shit I got. And that's how they get it through. And then you as a consumer, you're like, well, God, I just want to get the NT. Well, we got to break this. We got to get you to eat this first. So we as consumers, we didn't have that forced. And I think Fanatics will make things better. I think Fanatics, if you don't like a product, it won't get attention.
Well, go back to what we said in the beginning. That's a product that comes out. Obviously, that's a more expensive product, but even Prism, I could still be opening Prism. I just didn't want to anymore. I didn't chase the retail from Walmart at all. I'm not really going to chase the Target, I don't think. I needed a break from the rat race that was that product. I was happy with the Wemby that I got. And I just wanted to chase another product that I felt was right for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't want to dwell on that subject. But if you haven't checked those videos, do check them out.
No, I understand. Like I said, I did Monopoly over main Prism. I've got my ass kicked in Prism.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's I don't know. It's kind of depressing. What did I want? There was another topic I want to transition over to. I can't remember.
Well, you mentioned NBA being back. You had a question there. I don't think I fully answered that. So I want to go back on that. I think this year's playoffs is going to be really interesting. I think somebody different is going to win the title. I think it's going to change the dynamic of sealed product for a couple of players. I think you could see somebody from the 2017 draft class finally win a title. Maybe Jason Tatum. Not saying Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, or Bam Adebayo, or any of those players are going to win a title. But some of them are going to go deeper in the playoffs. And some of them may win a title. Luka, there's a very big game coming up tonight and Friday for the Kings and the Mavs. Going to decide probably who gets the 6th seed in the playoffs, who's a guaranteed playoff spot versus play in. 2018 with Shea, Luka, that's going to be very interesting. And then you have the 2020, 2021 with Ant-Man, Halliburton. You got a couple other guys, Tyrese Maxey. He played really well last night. He was in a different. No, never mind. He was in a different product, I think, or maybe he was in that product. I can't remember.
I thought he was. I can't remember. Yep.
There was other than LaMelo Ball originally. There's a lot of good players in that 2020 draft class, and some of them may make deep playoff runs this year. I think it was Tyrese Maxey. Now that I think about it.
Well, first thing I've learned in basketball is every draft class has talent in it. Like people even shit on good classes. Go, oh, this class is terrible. If you give them time, basketball players need 3 to 5 years. They really do. These guys are some of the most elite athletes in the goddamn world. So I agree with you. Like people are too fast to judge. What is unfortunate though is that people don't come back often and see that talent unless it really hits them in the head. And I was thinking about, like, for example, who would do the best if you could line up any championship, East versus West, just to make cards and the hobby hot? Who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a great question.
I'll go first while you're thinking about this. So for me, I would want to line up the Thunder, and I'd probably want to line up. I'm thinking the Pacers. Now I know that's not exciting, but it's a young team, and I've got a lot of Pacer rookies. I know for ratings, it's terrible, but I would love to see that type of youth. I really, really would, and I think that would shake. It's because you're not getting any big stars. I don't have to worry about LeBron. I'm not getting Butler or Giannis or any of those other big names. I think they put a lot of attention on that market. Now I don't know if they do anything for the cards, so let you go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking about which products haven't taken off because maybe a player hasn't won the title. And I was trying not to pick the same year for both conferences. I'll be a little selfish here. What would I love to see happen? I would love to see two guys from the 2017 draft class make the finals. I don't know that it'll happen, but it's probably never going to happen. But I would love to see Jason Tatum against De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
Because people laugh. Go ahead and laugh. People laugh. Fair enough. I don't know if anybody's watching, but if you are watching, go ahead and laugh. Laugh at me all you want. The rationale being they are 4th in defense in the month of March and 7th in defense since January. This team has figured out how to play defense. That can be very, very good in the playoffs. They remind me of the Miami Heat last year. If they stay healthy, get hot at the right time, they're not a team that you're going to want to play. They're scrappy. They got nothing to lose. It could be very much like the Heat. And the Celtics are overdue for a finals run. If they don't make it this year, they made it against the Warriors, fair enough. But if they don't make it this year and win, Jason Tatum's hype will never really take off. So I think I'd love to see those two play together in the finals because I think it would be one surprise team and one surprise player that everybody's forgetting about and everybody to love, and one player who is a hobby darling who is long overdue for his first breakthrough, much like Giannis was, much like Jokic was. He's long overdue for his first breakthrough. So that's what I would like to see. But I could go the other way and say any of the 2018 draft class participants, Shea or Luka Doncic, against Jason Tatum, and that would be good too.
See, to me, I'm over on the Jason train. I don't care, and he's the only one, in my opinion, that would benefit from that. Like Jaden Brown? Is it
Jaylen Brown?
I don't think he would do Jaylen Brown. I don't think his cards. Like my point is, there's not enough attention there. There's no good rookie there. It's also a franchise that I'm over. It's kind of the Lakers to me, so that's why I would go against them. But I agree with you. I'd love to see Sacramento. Luka would be great to see win a championship. I would love to see the Thunder, though, in the finals. I really would. I saw yesterday a stat that their team is younger than the average age of the Duke team. Like the Duke team is 28 or 22.6, and they're like 22.2 or something like that. Shout out to FD, rolling with FD. I think he had that video out on that. But I would love to see the Thunder there.
Well, I'll throw out so I'll tie things together. You can't go wrong if you have the Pacers, the Thunder, or the Kings in the finals. You know why? Because those teams are all connected in one way, shape, or form. Domantas Sabonis started his career on the Thunder. They traded him to Indiana for Paul George. Paul George was traded from the Thunder to the Clippers for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a gaggle of players that they are still getting benefits from. Yep. And Domantas Sabonis was then traded to the Kings for the hobby darling Tyrese Halliburton. So, in some way, those three teams are all connected, and that would be.
I tell you, I agree because I'll say this too. But if I look around, I think the NBA is looking for the next generation of stars. We thought it was a Zion. We thought it was Ja. Because let's be honest, LeBron's going away, Curry's going away. Whatever it is, these guys they're going to see their sunset, and I think it might be one of those three teams. And it'd be exciting if you look back 10 years from now. Unfortunately, when those big players are taken from those small markets and put onto like the New York Knicks or the Boston Celtics, the Lakers, I'd love it. I would love to see, like I said, Pacers, Thunder would be a terrible TV ratings. Let's be honest. Oklahoma, Indiana versus Oklahoma, no one's watching. But as a card guy, I would love that, man. And there's a lot of youth on both teams there, a lot of young rookies and stuff.
Well, then I'd love to see the Kings and the Pacers because it would be the
I'll go for it.
bonus Halliburton finals. I don't know that it'll happen. I don't know where the Kings will end up this year. They might be in the play-in. We don't know what'll happen tonight. But
it's funny.
Did you know, by the way, on the Kings, did you know Domantas Sabonis broke a record last night in the NBA that stood for a long, long time? He's the first player since the NBA-ABA merger to have 54 straight double-doubles.
Wow.
That guy gets no love in the hobby.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
At all. I
saw somebody else post that too.
54 straight games.
It was either Twitter or Facebook. Somebody had like the most underrated person is Sabonis. And first thing I thought was, oh, this is going to be John. It wasn't John. It's like, oh, it's somebody else who agrees with you. I don't disagree with you. I don't know what to say. I'll tell you this. I'm sure he doesn't. I don't say he doesn't care. I think he's a hardworking, just making money, doing what he has to do. And I assume he's popular in his country and outside the United States. I think it's just a U.S. thing. I think there's U.S. bias in certain places.
Well, I think there's a major media bias. I think whenever the trade went down for Halliburton back in the day, they were like, how could you trade away Halliburton? He's the best thing ever. He's a great player. But you made Sabonis feel like he's an inferior star. And he's not like the flashiest player, but he's a super hard worker, very durable, gritty. Yes, he had a few bad series in the playoffs between Indiana and Sacramento. We don't really know whether he'll ever fix that, but he's not empty calories. This 54 straight double-doubles does not happen by accident.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
He could add to that tonight.
and he's not even in the discussion for, MVP.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
He didn't make the All-Star team. It's ridiculous. He's like getting a PSA. He's like getting a PSA 8 when you expect to get a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. I mean, what the hell's going on there? How do you get a PSA 8?
No, that's a great segue there, and it's a good analogy.
So you're not doing any basketball cards, any baseball, anything else coming up? You would target?
I think the next product that would come along that would be interesting to me would be Chrome, but that won't be for a while. So I needed something to fill the gap in the meantime. And I wanted a break, going back to what we said in the beginning. I wanted a break from Fanatics. I didn't want to buy a Fanatics product. I just needed a break. And I sure as hell didn't want to buy another Panini product. I quit while I was ahead there.
That's that's not a bad idea. I'll say the same thing for me. I don't think I'll do optic or chase any of that stuff. Because of the autos, the lack of autos. I'm sure they'll do something stupid like have a blank, no autograph optic card. I don't know. I'm just
and there's no football.
I'm also trying to get over Monopoly. Yeah, I did some prison breaks, but I'm trying to get off the Prism nipple as well because that's been brutal. I'm trying to get most cards graded. I'm also worried about that now that I got that one grade already back.
You'll get some
9s.
You'll get some 10s. You'll get some big 10s. I would assume you had some Bryce Youngs that you had, unless you sold them already. That should be
no. Good. Yeah, I mean, I will grade as much as I can. But I'm also trying to stop the Monopoly stuff too. I want to do more Monopoly, but I'm thinking I'm gonna try to stop. I really am. I'm shocked by how few Wemby colors I've seen out there. I'll tell you that. I thought there'd be more. But.
Well, they're in the product. I just think they made a lot more this year, so they're harder to come by. Yeah. But
I chase a lot of teams, and I have a lot of color in all the other rookies. And that Wemby, that was the only
Wemby you don't have, except for the big boy. I hope you get a 10 on that because I think that's a massive card that could make up for a lot of bad openings, a lot of things that didn't go your way.
I know.
I think that's you're long overdue for a big.
Well,
did you make If Sports Cards Pulls of the Week? By the way, you probably should.
I did not.
I figured you had. I mean, I know that.
I would say, the floor on that was like $7,000. I don't think that's a $7,000 card. I also think that they might do retail differently. So this was a retail pull. They were looking at like their hobby boxes. The main thing there was the definitive card, which makes you think about. What do you think about that with Wemby being in baseball and the definitive or whatever that product is? That's a one card product.
Yeah, that.
I think that was $4,000 a box or some ridiculous price.
I don't know. I can't remember if it was that high. I want to say it was in the $800 to $900 range, maybe. But I could be wrong.
I think it used to be though. I don't think it is anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, the fact that he's in there, obviously Fanatics owns the rights to do whatever they want, to put him in whatever product they want, or market him however they want. So if they did lacked licensed cards of Wemby, so you know what they did? They put him in a Yankees uniform and they're selling him in a baseball product, which is innovative in a way. But in the long run, is that going to be the collectible card that you want of Victor Wembanyama, or are you going to want him in a Spurs jersey? I think in a Yankees jersey, while it is interesting, I don't know that it has great collectability long term, unless you're just a super collector of Victor Wembanyama in the long run. But I could be wrong.
I agree. In fact, this made me think it's another topic real quickly. I saw Jeff Wilson did the opening of that product, and I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong product. But again, you could tell he's now promoting products, whereas you mentioned before, he used to tell you not to buy wax. It's the worst investment, right? And when he did, he'd show you the risks about it. Now he's sitting there opening it, and you can tell he's completely positioning these high-end products as replacements for NT and Flawless, which is where Fanatics is the weakest in their portfolio. Like they dominate in the whole flagship, Chrome, Bowman product line. But when it comes to high-end products, they suck. Topps' high-end products suck with a capital S. I mean, I bought all of them, but I don't like any of them. And I've seen him pushing that. And I'll say this, putting Wemby in there, like I wonder year 2, year 3, when there's no NT and no Flawless, is that the crap you want to be buying? I don't know. I don't think it's going to replace NT. At least maybe I'm wrong, but
I'm glad you brought that topic up. I completely forgot that I put that on, or we were talking about that. Mm-hmm. I think the constant pivot by certain individuals, I can't fault them because they're trying to put food on the table or they're trying to hire people. Fair enough. You got to make a living, right? I'm not going to take that away from you, but at least be a little more upfront about it, or don't try to memory hole it completely to say, I think you should always buy wax. You should always have fun in the hobby. You should chase this. You should buy from me. I'm selling it at a great price. When you yourself, 5 years ago, when you were making videos, said it was a terrible thing to do unless you were going to buy it to sit on a shelf and invest in wax. Yeah. And then you've bought bad products that are terrible. And then I haven't heard a heck of a lot about Series 1 lately. And I said I wasn't going to buy any for Topps Series 1. I don't know how sales have been, but I haven't missed it one bit. I didn't grade any. I didn't buy any. I take it back. I bought one mega box from Barnes & Noble. I sold the hits. I made my money back on the box, and I didn't buy any more. And when Jeff had his shop open around that time when it first came out in Series 1, he was trying to say, these are flying off our shelves, the greatest thing ever. And it's like, the value in those hobby boxes or jumbos, they're not good at all. I'm not going to say you can't hit a lottery ticket, but they're not good at all. And you're portraying it now like it's great because it's good for you. And that is a problem.
Yeah. Well, again, his comment he made was there's great value in these boxes. I'm like, that's such a deceptive word to say. And I'll say this too. It is like, I've been critical of Jeff. I've been a fan. I've been critical of him. But this is where I think he's going to cross a line in the sense that he's going to lose. He can't be sports card investor when you run a local card store. You're just not.
He can be, but
but you're not an investor. It's almost like a drug dealer getting high on their own supply.
Think about it through this lens. It's a metaphor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is a sports card investor, not in the physical cardboard, but in the market of selling to others.
Yeah.
You're investing in the market. You want to be in the market. You want to be selling to others because that's where you see the value is flipping stuff, whether it be low end or high end or low margin, high margin. You're not investing to hold on to cards. You're just trying to churn and burn. That still can be investing. So, and then, through the stand-up displays or whatever else he invested in, you're investing in the sports card market, but you're not actually buying the cardboard itself to hold on to or to speculate on players anymore. You're just creating a different avenue to pursue revenue.
Yeah.
So
another thing he did that I thought was interesting was he had a video on last week of him buying a vintage collection from a guy. And I'll be honest, my first thought was I thought the entire thing was staged. I felt like it was the Pawn Stars thing, and it also kind of showed to me his inexperience with it. Like I almost feel like he could easily be a target for people to sell fake collections because I don't think he knows what the hell he was looking at. I'm not kidding. Like if you go watch this video, the guy walks in there, the guy doing the deal is very arrogant about, I'm going to get this much money, and he even pushes at the end with how he's going to close the deal. And Jeff is just overselling, just keeps talking and talking. Well, we value this and this. I'm like, dude, just make your offer and not. It was a very interesting video, and I thought to myself, I guarantee he's going to attract a lot of people who are going to go take fake sets and fake collections to him. It just if you have a chance, check out the video. He did not seem to have the confidence of knowing what the hell he was talking about in some of these vintage cards. And I don't know, it was an interesting video for me. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I know he's buying, which is great.
I haven't watched a lot of his content lately. Honestly, I kind of needed a break. I
understand.
The boasting about fanatics this and fanatics that, and I made a negative video one time on my channel, and it got a little bit of flack for that. And I try not to be like that, but I thought the better way, instead of making videos like that or even like trying to be a little bit of a counterpoint, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to ignore it for a while. For my own mental health. This is a hobby,
I understand,
and it ain't a hobby to me when that's all. But it's like front and center, and it's just too much. I was like, nah, I gotta take a break. Yeah. But maybe I'll check the video out.
No, anyway, just some thoughts on the whole Jeff thing. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap this up. Really appreciate you being on board tonight, John. Thanks again. We'll be back again in 2 weeks for another episode, talking more basketball, talking about the hobby. We didn't talk much about March Madness. I don't think it really affects the hobby that much. I know people their Bowman cards have been going up. I don't do that, so I don't have much to talk about there.
Well, we could spend a lot of time talking about baseball. The run into the season here has gone off without a lot of hype. Honestly, there's only a handful of guys that are actually in the league who are getting any chatter at all. And then you got the whole Shohei Ohtani gambling question, and everybody, they're running with stories here, and I don't even. Just let the facts play out. Maybe I haven't paid close enough attention to it, but let the facts play out on that. Speculating like, is he going to get suspended? Is he going to go to prison? I mean, come on. It's just clickbait. Like, he's not even in – nothing – no charges have been filed. Like, please.
I will say this, though. I was listening to – shout out to the Retro Hoops guys. And the guy simply said, look, all I know is after hearing the whole thing, I would move the hell out of California. He goes, how is it illegal to pay your friend's gambling debt? And I have to say, I don't understand that either. Like, if your buddy came to you and said, dude, man, if you saw your buddy and he was on the, I don't know, prostituting himself, or he was drunk, or he goes, man, what's going on? I have a gambling debt. And you said, dude, don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'll help you. Let me pay your debt off. And you went to jail for that kind act. Can you imagine that? Like, how is that even a law? How did California decide to put people in jail for help? I just don't get it, man. that was the biggest shock to me.
I was shocked by that, the fact that is illegal, like you said.
Yes.
I thought, man, really?
That's a lot of our people are going to jail because gambling's only getting bigger. I mean, a lot of people are going to go to jail in California. You have to move.
Well, it just shocks me that any state now, it shocks me that they don't have legalized like sports betting. Like every state that our state was the first to adopt it. Illinois, I think, has it. You've got, I think Wisconsin doesn't have it. I go there a lot. Now, every time I go there, I can't place a bet. And I'm like, I don't live here. I'm just physically here, and I want to bet on a game. And they don't let me because of my phone says, you're not in a state that allows this. And I'm like, well, that's bull crap because you're paying for if I win, you're paying it in a state that I do allow it. Right?
So it's because you're too close. You're too close to the other states, right? And the GPS can't find. Is that what it is?
Well, so every time I go visit family in Wisconsin, it's like, oh, this is not a state that we check your GPS. You're not a state that allows this, and I'm like, but I live in a state that does, and so technically, I am a customer in a state that allows this. So if I win this, you should allow it because I'm winning this in the state of Indiana, not in the state of Wisconsin.
So I'm in the D.C. area. You have D.C., Maryland. You also have West Virginia and Virginia. Depending on where I am, if I'm up near the wrong place, I can't get a bet in because they think I'm in either Maryland or West Virginia or whatever it is. And then here in Virginia, we cannot bet on Virginia college schools. which I find very interesting. Why? I can't bet on UVA, James Madison, none of the teams in the brackets I was allowed to bet on. They're blacked out. Now you can, if I drive over to West Virginia or Maryland and use my phone, I can bet from there. So these betting rules are very, very weird, and the technology is very powerful the way they're able to manage it. So I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, no, I think I had that same thing happen. I was in Kentucky once in Owensboro, right across the river, Ohio River from Indiana, and Kentucky doesn't allow sports betting, and I could not place a bet on a race. And I would have won too, and I couldn't place it because I was across the bridge. I was like, that's bullshit, bull crap. I was like, I almost walked back across the bridge just to place the bet, but I don't know where that GPS boundary was.
It's stupid. I've had friends call me and ask me if I can play bets for them. Like, why? Because my state won't. I'm like, I can't believe this. But that's where we are today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I am going to do a couple things. I'm going to take you off the screen. I'm going to respond to this quick comment down here about the Dustin video. And then hang out, John, because I do want to catch up with you afterwards as well. So I'm going to respond to this, and then I'm going to cut the video and talk. So real quickly, my response to the video yesterday I put about Dustin, let me say this. First of all, honestly, I have always considered Dustin friendly. I'm critical, and most of the time I'm very critical of him. I will send him messages personally before sometimes I type messages to him. I was frustrated in making that video. I think I did a good job explaining why I'm frustrated. Like, I simply think he could have said something different to some of his sponsors, or could have taken a different stance, and that it's his prerogative to do what he wants to do. What I will say is I was surprised by how many people viewed it. I've never had a video get that many views. I had more people join my channel on that video, and I don't know if I like that or not, because I think I put out good content on other stuff that no one watches, and then I put out content like that, and I get a lot of subscribers. So I'm thankful for that, and I appreciate that. I'm kind of digesting it all, and I'll say this too. I hope that we just make the hobby better, whether it's Dustin or other sponsors. I hope you look at the sponsors that you're taking money from. There are a lot of shitty sponsors out there, a lot of shitty companies that do shady shit, and we shouldn't just simply take their money and say their name when we're talking about them. That's just my opinion about them. And I'll leave it at that. So I do appreciate everybody for watching tonight. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate the subscribers, the view count. It's been amazing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing the show with John. I'm doing the show with Michael Ham, and I'm going to keep doing my Wednesday night show. So thank you guys very much. Have a great night, and I appreciate everybody. And Dustin, I hope the best to you, man. I do.